if you wouldn't mind giving us a recap.
Oogie had heartfelt conversations with Riley, Park, and Lily Grace. Riley and Park decided to remain on Mektora. Lily Grace did as well and hinted, as she departed, that she's pregnant with Oogie's child. We returned to Zenthra to resupply and prepare for our coming mission. While we were there, the Raza returned. With Carter's help, we pitched our plan to the commanders, and they agreed to it, even going so far as to allow us to use the Raza. We assembled a mighty fleet consisting of the Bro, the Houses of March, Galactic Mandate, the United Imperial Shogunates, and the Mercenary Swarm to invade Tiamat 77-7. Not all of our allies survived the spike drill, but most of the fleet arrived intact. Aboard the Raza, we timed our departure to arrive a few minutes after everyone else, when the battle with the Union fleet had already begun. We slipped away in the frenzy and made our way to the planet. Readings indicated that the planet and the black hole are billions of years older than the entire universe. Chemical analysis suggests that this planet has, or had, a similar composition to Mektora, particularly an abundance of indium. Descending to the planet, we were hailed by a Union patrol boat under Colonel Lebov. He demanded that we turn back, but could not back up his words. We landed at a Union base on the planet and insisted upon an audience with somebody in charge. We were met on the landing platform by Major Laria Timofeyevich. Izya asked for the location of the alien ruins, and then gleaned the name of Dr. Summer Fields from Timofeyevich's mind. We were escorted to a research site where we observed a pile of alien scrap bearing a resemblance to white hole bombs. Dr. Fields revealed that there were aliens here who spread throughout the galaxy for millions of years. They were observing humanity throughout its history, but their study ended with the Scream, even though they experienced millions of years of history afterward. Dr. Fields believes that this system was the origin of the Scream. She agreed to leave with us when we promised to take her someplace where she would survive the impending stitch in time. End transmission.
All right, thank you. So, in my sinus-addled week, 2 weeks, I struggled to think of what would be a sufficient way of handling the rest of this mission. You guys have effectively you've effectively accomplished what you came here to do. There is probably more that you could do, and I certainly won't, cut that out. I'm not carving anything out here. But I do want to let you know that in those 2 weeks of hemming and hawing, I have discarded a assault by Union, or at least a rolled combat assault by Union on your location, because you have superior numbers, and you also have the Shinobu ship to back you up. I decided to give them a little bit more credit. Like, by the numbers, you would have gotten here in 8 hours, I believe, and they would have gotten here in 16 hours. Decided that that didn't need to be a strict numbers thing, and so they're here to support you, as was part of the draw of selecting them as an ally. And a ship battle, while it might be exciting, would ultimately also be a just kind of playing out a devastation. I don't mind doing that if you guys want to. I have the Union ship stats, but Union's not going to have a cruiser or anything that can actually challenge. Well, the Union could
They had a
probably
battleship.
not here though. They have a battleship at the battle.
Oh,
They've got multiple battleships at the battle,
right.
but those are a full 24 hours away at this point.
Right.
I mean, the plan that you guys came up with worked perfectly. There's a battle raging over there that's occupying Union's capable forces. The
I mean,
ships that are on this planet are just ships that were told to stay here.
I do want to shoot the metaspatial hypercharge cannon at least once.
We can
Okay.
send it as a warning shot.
Let's see. I think we can do that. There's no reason not to have that ship battle. It is going to be a slaughter, but that's okay. Yeah, get Praetorian music playing. So yeah, I was worried that we'd end up meeting, and I'd be like, all right, session's done. What are you guys doing for your thing? And that this would be the last session, and that would be unsatisfying. But that's kind of loud. Sounds like it won't be. So we'll see where this goes, and this might be the last session, guys.
Yay, Marcus gets to become spaghetti.
Well, we're gonna have at least a whole other session just to describe that process. Though, right?
I will have to stretch it out.
Yeah, just like
But
Marcus. I suppose that was the joke, huh?
Yes, it was.
that was the joke.
We'll just have Ben record the words goodbye stretched out as long as he can say it, and then we'll use audio editing software to stretch it out to 4 hours.
Nice.
Hang on real quick. I have to figure out where my... Okay, there's the ships that the Union would have here.
You can do it.
Alright.
Question of curiosity.
Yes.
Where is the actual crew of the Raza?
They are... I would say that they are still at Camiego. Doing... Camiego. At Dry Sun. Doing what they can with the more extensive research and workshop facilities there. Not workshop facilities. Production tech facilities. The Raza has a really good workshop, but ground is still always better. And
Lordy.
while Jai and Nemesis and Charlie would probably may have wanted to be on the Raza, the priorities seemed to exclude the Raza. Now, you two, Meowkin and Nox, I will certainly let you guys make a decision on whether Nemesis and Charlie want to be on the Raza.
I think I'm good with the not being there, or Nemesis not being there.
Okay.
Just for the sake of simplicity, honestly.
Yeah, okay. Nox?
We'll say so.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually preferable to Commander Rao anyways, especially for Charlie's Brain Guard with a strange multi-corpse teleporting feral psychic out there.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yep, that guy. What was I gonna say? I don't remember. Yeah, I do know that Elena was captain. Oh, and Zoe is on Lumiera. Oh no, Zoe's on that battleship with Cassian. Zoe's in that battle out there.
But not in the Raza.
But not in the Raza, no. Zoe's on a battleship. Alright. Does everyone have access to the Raza? I believe I can show it to y'all. Let's actually make sure. Yeah, it's edited and controlled by everyone. So, there you go. There is the Raza. As a character, apparently. Just click on the vehicle tab. Oh, not the vehicle tab. The NPC vehicle tab? What is going on here? Okay. Do you guys
leave
see
that
anything
to
on the
you.
sheet?
No, it's blank for me.
Interesting. It is in all players' journal, and it can be edited and controlled by all players. I don't know why it is being a dork. Meowkin and Nox, can you see it?
So I have. Hold on. You talking about the Raza, right?
Yeah.
I had it pulled up last session,
Yeah.
but
I can.
okay, yeah, there we go, yeah. Whole point, yeah, hit point, yeah, okay, yeah, I've got it. Just make sure it's set the vehicle and not like character.
Oh, weird. I did actually have it on vehicle at one point, and it was not showing anything. Ben, can you try again? Put it on vehicle and give it a moment, and make sure it's not in edit mode.
I'm definitely not in edit mode.
Uh,
I'm on NPC and it is blank for me.
I had to close it and then reopen it on my own.
okay, try doing that, Ben. It's
I'm just gonna completely close Roll20, but no, that's fine. Carry on.
it's under the characters vacant page. And I'll just leave that there for image. Okay. So yeah, I don't think that a battle with Union forces as you return to the ship is reasonable, at least not played out. The Union forces do try to oppose you when they realize that you are taking out Dr. Fields, but with a quick word from or to the Shinobu, to Tajimashiro, and his forces, combined with your own firepower and putting her in a CFU, you're able to cut through very quickly the scattered Union response. They did not have time to actually mount a proper response to what they didn't realize until too late what was a threat. Everything was going fine as far as they knew. And then suddenly it wasn't.
That's the way of things.
It does mean, however, that there are 3 Union ships moving into, sorry, not 3, 2 Union ships moving into range of the Raza and your Shinobu counterpart. The one that initially challenged you is now taking a offensive position to try and prevent the Raza from taking off. And there's another one speeding your way. It'll take it about 10 minutes to get here, which is coincidentally also about how long it's going to take you to board and get up into atmosphere.
How fortuitous.
Right? Yeah, let me change music here. And what screen are we on? On the Raza base screen. Let's move to ship combat. Alright, so here, there are little sections for you guys to put your characters in. Those Captain Bridge, Comms, Engineering, and Gunnery sections are the actual departments. And if you've never done ship combat in Stars Without Number, well, you're gonna do ship
Fire
combat.
all weapons.
Yeah, you're gonna do ship combat in Stars Without Number just real quick. The hustle through the small Union research base here is filled with gunfire. Mag weapons are deployed at first, and then you can hear, those of you that can understand Russian, hear the chastisement of superior officers, which honestly gives you guys a little bit of a break in the fire anyways, as they quickly switch out to void carbines. Or use their weaker kind of nail gun carbine weapons. Basically, submachine gun void carbines. But they don't meaningfully hit any of you. Some of you will have some small injuries. Some of you will have a bullet in the shoulder or a scrape across your armor, but you reach the ship. Who is taking the captain role? You can
Anyone have lead?
Like, is yeah?
Is
Yeah,
it
it's
does.
pretty much what I do. I think that's going to need to be me.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Who is taking the bridge? That is the piloting actions.
We don't have a pilot. Connor.
Connor decided to go back to Astos to finish some unresolved business. You guys never did his loyalty mission, so he went there on his own.
It's because
Didn't
we
even-
got the bad end about halfway through.
Basically. Yeah, I guess it's just whoever wants to decide actions, and an NPC will actually do the checks, right?
Yeah, and we'll do that just by
I'm holding up.
You mind putting moving Izzy up to the captain box there, Aura?
Yeah, sure. I'm kind of all over the house at the moment.
Oh,
Second.
I can do it for you.
Nah, I got it.
All right. All right, Archibald on gunnery. Who wants to do the fixing things? Oh, Amaya.
Yep.
I can move you.
Yes.
So it sounds like by default, Marcus is in charge of the bridge.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Look, we have 5 people for 5 stations. Nice.
yeah, I like it when it works out like that. So what that means for you, Ben, is you get a little bit more play in how you run things. You get to choose actions from the bridge department, and
Yep.
if it's something that Marcus is not good at, then Elena is good at it. She's the captain. She's competent in all of these departments. Not great, but competent. If you want to do something specifically with Marcus, go above and beyond using telekinesis or some other skill, you can also do that. All right, and from there, we're going to roll initiative. Uh,
Raggy.
Meowkin, please click on your token and roll.
Oh, roll initiative.
Mm-hmm.
You are the initiative.
I am the initiative. Mediocre. Actually, not great. But I have +2, so, I guess it's...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're still labeled as patrol boats. That's fine.
They
Uh-oh.
won't be around for too long, I imagine.
Alright, well that makes it more exciting. The crew and the PCs and assorted crew that you brought with you race back to the Raza. You are blowing through guards at the airlocks and racing across the airless external environment of. You guys never learned the name of this planet, did you? Protori.
Tiamat.
Tiamat is the sun.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Well, the black hole.
Right.
I was just being silly.
Okay. I don't accept silly.
Black
Yeah, no,
hole
that's fair.
sun, won't you come and wash
away the
rain?
Well, I guess I don't have to worry about a copyright strike. That was awful.
What? No, that's absolutely worth a copyright strike.
Stone Temple pilots don't want to own that.
And yes, Dr. Fields was very creative in naming the aliens.
Wait, what were the aliens called?
Protora.
No, the Protora.
Because they were found on a planet that was named Protori.
Oh. Wait. Oh, okay, I see. Protora is plural. I would have got Pretoran, or... Yeah, no, I don't know.
I don't know why she chose it like that. Blame her, not me.
We're gonna have words.
And you're being told to stand down and surrender by Major Larian Timofeyevich.
Archibald's just gonna arch an eyebrow.
Elena has ignored him also as you guys were getting up to the bridge. This is a much bigger ship than. Oh, actually, you guys were on a cruiser. You were on the Hedgehog. This is about the same size, so you're familiar with how long it takes to get places. Even racing.
But it's much shinier. Well, I don't know if it's much shinier. I mean, the Hedgehog was nice and new.
If you define shiny as this is pretext, then yeah, it's much shinier.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. That's a much better definition of shiny.
Because there are still examples of it being shiny. It's definitely less inviting and warm than the Hedgehog. The Raza.
Oh, yeah, we don't have the luxury quarters.
Don't have the luxury quarters
on the Raza.
And the Raza was built as a military ship. Military is in all of its internal design. The hallways are kind of oppressive. But Elena's got the engines up and running and is at the pilot seat when you all filter in. Knowing your skills, she says she tells you that she is going to fly. Someone else needs to maintain the crew, basically. The in-universe talk for someone else be the captain. I assume that Izya just kind of steps into that role. How does that play out, or does it?
He pretty much just says okay.
Okay. And as she is lurching the ship off the ground, um, with the landing gear still out and being retracted, you hear the impact of high-powered, massively high-velocity rounds flying from the ship approaching you and the ship above you. The rover.
Is that the name of the ship? The rover?
Yeah, it's a Union rover.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why it
Okay.
displays patrol boat on the screen. I think Roll20 did some changes in between when I made these tokens and now.
Red rover. Send the patrol boat on over.
Well, they're immediately going to try to force the Raza into making critical piloting errors. This is an opposed int program check against comms. By the way, we didn't really touch on Oogie sitting in comms. Did you want an NPC there like Ben has? Or is Oogie actually doing the programming checks on this?
Oogie does not have programming. I figured I was going to be doing a lot of above and beyond from this position.
Okay.
So we need an NPC to
handle the actual programming. Yeah.
Armstrong's not the best one for that, are they?
Armstrong's not great on the fly, but Armstrong is still probably your best comms person. They just excel even more, I guess you'd say, when they're doing things that they're comfortable and familiar with.
Right, and we don't have anyone else that's especially.
Yeah, and actually,
is it counter electronic warfare? Electronic warfare.
Basically, yeah. And I had forgotten that you had basically the whole NPC route here.
We do. That's what you told us.
Yep.
You would never lie to us.
I would never lie to you.
Trin.
Oh yeah, you could use acid too, for that matter.
Yeah, acid would be pretty good. I remember, I mean, not a great working relationship, but Oogie had at least started to have conversations with acid.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. Armstrong is still working on comms stuff, but not the heat of the battle stuff. Acid is better suited for that.
All right, so you need an opposed
int program. For Acid, all that means is that she is proficient with the skill. Oh, no.
All right, I always forget how to do this. Click on her token.
And there's a shift double click, and there's a skill thing in the top right.
Should we be adding more to pretty much every check being made on account of authority too?
Yes, we should. So all NPCs will also get a, what is it, a +1?
1 to skill checks and more to hit and...
Right, your
morale.
lead skill in hit and morale, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But 1 to skill checks.
Okay. Remember, don't put the plus in the modifier box, just the number.
And it's how much? +1?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay. So acid is proficient.
Mm-hmm.
Modifier 1.
Wow.
That is not a great roll for Acid.
1 and a 2.
Dang.
That was gonna be awkward.
Well, Acid is a bit unfamiliar with the Raza. This is probably the first time that Acid has been given leave to even be on the bridge.
A whole new world. Fucking check down that ship.
I mean, this is just gonna mean that we just don't get to fire all our weapons twice, right?
It just means
Maybe.
you're at -2 command points, so it's a deficit to make up.
Not really a huge deal.
With that succeeding, the rover is going to fire at the Raza twice. It has 3 command points left, and it fires its mag spike arrays. Oh, it's not counting ammo for me. Dang it, why isn't it counting ammo for me? Well, I'll figure that out.
You may not need to.
I may not need to. I'm pretty sure the first one misses, the second one hits, but I don't think either of them overcome the Raza's armor. Where did the Raza go? Well, there's the Raza. Okay, there's armor. Yeah,
15
armor is 20.
But yeah, 20 armor. Only
Wow.
18, so it needs to do. They need to do over 10 damage to do any damage to the Raza.
Yes, it does. Which is not impossible.
Yeah.
But it's not going to take the Raza down in many rounds.
Yeah, it's unlikely.
It is still a startling sound to hear that much just sheer barrage of metal crashing into the Raza and also into the ground below, sending Praetori dust and probably salvageable technology, you know, buildings and stuff, alien ruins being scattered up into the belly of the Raza as Elena is jerking it skyward. It is your guys' turn. You have a -2 command points. Does Izya have Star Captain?
No.
Okay. So, Izya chooses the order in which the departments go, and if you're familiar with the combat enough, tell me. Otherwise, I'm going to go through options for each one of you as your turn comes up. Izya, as the captain, you don't actually need to act immediately. Well, I suppose support department is supposed to be a on your turn thing.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And I don't really have anything else I want to use.
Okay. So
Yeah,
there you have
this
it.
should be a pretty straightforward combat, right? Fire all weapons.
You wouldn't
I'm
do
going
that.
to
That's
support
not
the bridge.
supporting.
And we can just leave. That's my plan. I know that's disappointing for several of you, but I'm going to support the bridge.
Okay.
Okay.
So one action that the bridge takes has a -2 to
Command point cost.
point cost.
But since we all know that it's important that we fire the guns, how many command points do we have?
-2.
-2.
Yeah.
So we have -2 starting from 0.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm confused.
So
Each station basically generates the command points.
right. Each ship starts with 0 command points, and then must either station by station do your duty or go above and beyond. NPCs have a streamlined process in which they are simply given command points at the start, assuming that they do a mixture of those two things to get those command points. PCs have no such benefit. You as a captain decide what order people will go in, and you can suggest actions for them. Like you can tell, you can have comms go, and you can tell comms generate action points. You can have engineering go, and you can tell engineering generate action points. If they have, or command points, if they have command points available when it gets to their turn, they can do something else if they want to. That's entirely within them. The only thing that you control is what order they go in. So if you're in a situation like you are now, where the opposing ship has given you a command point deficit, You could tell Gunnery to go next, and Gunnery would not be able to actually do anything except for generate command points.
I think engineering can go next.
Okay. So,
Am I unmuted? Yes.
yes.
What was the check involved with Go Above and Beyond? I forgot.
Above and
the
Beyond
difficulty 9.
is a skill check against a difficulty 9. It's a skill check. The skill is relevant to whatever you're doing to go above and beyond.
Okay.
And it doesn't
Then-
have to be your specific department. It just has to be something that your character is doing.
Maya is going to, I will say, get used to the increased size of the Raza from the regular ship, because we're not in the Raza. And try and kick us off the ground. Just a little bit faster, going above and beyond.
Okay. That sounds like a fixed check to trying to accurately and timely route power throughout the ship to where Elena needs it most. Well, that certainly succeeds the difficulty 9. And with that, the ship gets Amaya's
4
fixed
command
skill +1 in command points.
So 4, so we're up to 2.
Okay. I'm gonna put the command points in hello.
And below.
Yeah. In the hello box.
Oh. Wait. Oh, okay. Now I see it. I had so many little windows open, I couldn't see where it was.
I could probably let's see, let's move Christy over there and we'll put it up here so it's closer to where you guys are actually looking. Alright, and just for ease of reference, I'm going to have everyone who has gone move their character down to the bottom of their box. So I've already moved Izya and Amaya. Yeah, that makes it easy also. Alright, Captain. Which department is acting next? And is Izya giving them any instructions? Alright, still with us?
No, I don't have any special instructions for anyone. I'll kick it over to comms.
Alright.
Oogie has sat down at his terminal, and there is a flood of tactical information coming in here. And Oogie is entering into information processing mode. That look that people have seen in his eyes every time he picks up and is wandering around absent-minded with a pad. Today he's employing it to filter combat data. So I'm going to make an intelligence plus administer roll to go above and beyond.
Okay. That makes it. What is Oogie's administer skill?
Just one. So 2 more
points.
command points.
Alright, that does bring us up to 4. Oh, yep, thank you. Alright, Izya, the ship is up to 4 command points, and you've got bridge and...
Well, now that things seem to be looking a little better for us, we're off the ground, we've got the hacking sorted out, I guess it's probably okay if you fire back at this guy, who I tried to warn.
Sure. I guess let's just go ahead and do a single fire all weapons then, right?
Yeah, you've got 4 command points.
Yeah, that's one.
Fire
single
in my
fire.
laser.
I guess I could target systems, but that seems unnecessary.
And what, just take out the engine, just like, bye-bye.
I mean, that would be the nice thing to do, wouldn't it?
It would be. I would endorse that, but it's up to you.
The unfortunate thing there is that it would only reduce them down to a drive 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
And
If you fire one weapon, then Bridge can use escape combat on their turn.
I mean, I really do just want to shoot the one weapon, don't I? Yeah, sure. Let's just do that for the cinematic.
okay.
If we escaped, aren't we like sitting here for another 3 turns while that happens though? The process
Yes.
multiple turns.
That's gonna technically yes.
Yeah, escape combat does take 3 turns at least.
Oh, I see. But I mean, that's ultimately what we're trying to do here. So
Yep. I've
But
done
we
ship
could
combat
also-
once before. Escape combat is kind of what you leave time for.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
honestly, we'll leave combat sooner if we blow up both the patrol boats.
In a way, yes.
So let's just go ahead and fire all weapons at the one that goes after us. I'm trying to remember.
You do not have to designate the target of all 5 weapons. Just
Okay.
each one as you fire it.
Okay. Well, obviously we fire the metaspatial first.
Okay. And
Big boy.
are you firing at the one that is hovering above you, trying to bodily hem you in, or the one that is approaching? The one that is approaching has not fired yet.
Oh. Well, I guess we got to fire the one right above us then.
Okay. These are set at a +0 attack bonus, so that you can simply enter what your shoot, attack, and dex mods would be as the modifier.
Okay. That's what I was trying to remember. So basically, it's the same as my guns. As
It
the
is,
gun,
yeah.
right?
The only thing that this doesn't take into account is that you also get your dex mod to damage, but we can just add that on afterwards.
Okay. Which I think puts me at 11. Shoot +3, dex +2. That's 5. The attack bonus is 6.
Ish.
That sounds right.
Okay. I thought you were saying shoot +3 was your attack bonus, right? Got it.
Yeah, shoot +3 is my attack bonus. Or nah, my attack bonus is 6. Anyways, yada yada. I have +11 total.
Oh yeah, that hits. And
So exactly what I wanted.
let me see how many hit points they have. I'm
Very potentially less than 26. That was a really well, it was a decent damage roll. It was a good damage roll.
going to have them make a very difficult skill check for this. This level of assault was unexpected. Now, Major Larian Timofeyevich is not a greenie to combat and has heard what the Raza can do. So if he makes
Oh, this is his first time seeing it.
this is his first time seeing it. He's not expecting this level of assault. If he makes this difficulty, difficulty 12 skill check, he will take a crisis to avoid the hit.
Oh right, I forgot they could do that.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 4 more guns. Wow.
The metaspatial hypercharge cannon does not leave this rover unwounded. Why don't you roll me a d10 and we'll see what crisis they get here. Cargo loss. Well, the cannon has very
Showed no cargo.
seriously compromised the integrity of this ship, but not in a way that accounts for hit point damage. It has you have vented their entire cargo bay with a massive hole through the ship. Breachheads, or whatever they're called, sealing up just in time to keep the ship from dramatically imploding.
Oh, shame.
what
I
would the
heard
cargo
rumors.
patrol boat be? Would that be like their ammo reserves?
Yeah, actually, Union ships do keep extra ammo in their cargo. They legitimately do. they're supposed to have, let's see, cargo space. Oh, they've got compact magazines. So while I haven't accounted for it in the template Union ship, Union ships normally have compact magazines where their ammo weapons, which they're almost all ammo weapons, have double ammo, and they also usually have there's something else. They usually have weapons that are a size smaller than the ship, so every ton of free mass every ton of cargo space holds even more ammo, and they usually stockpile more. They've just lost all that, and there's a dramatic bombing of flak mag spike shells on the ground, hitting the ground as they list and careen wildly to the side, trying to maintain altitude and not crash.
But that does mean they still have ammo in their magazines, right?
They do still have ammo in their magazines, yeah.
Okay. So I guess we just gotta keep firing at them until it.
I do at
Firing
least
will
hold
continue.
to most NPC ships will only crisis once a round.
Can't remember. Nat 20s aren't a thing for attacks in this, are they?
No.
I found out they are. The absence of it in the book was a mistake.
Really?
Ah.
Yeah, I've
There's
up
still nothing in the
until
book.
up until several months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, I had also run under the assumption I'd like been half proud to announce, no, Kevin Crawford doesn't believe in nat 20s in combat. Well, it turns out he does.
But you never went back and added it, huh?
He never went back and added it. I believe it's in Cities Without Number. I don't remember if it's in Worlds. I think so, actually. But yeah, no, he's clarified on Reddit that he did intend for nat 20s and nat 1s to have their
something.
Yeah, their traditional OSR effects.
Yeah. Anyways, I assume 9's not enough to kill it, right?
That's not enough to kill it now.
All right. Well, let's keep firing.
Wait, before you does it actually take the 9? Because it does also say it always deals at least 5.
Yeah, it means it can't do less than 5 damage. That's
Yeah.
what that means.
Oh, so it doesn't automatically just take 5 damage.
No. No. If the ship had like
Oh, you said this adds my dex modifier too, or it should?
it adds your dex modifier also, yeah.
Okay, which is +2.
So if you
So
were
it's
fired at
11
a
and 12.
battleship that had 20 armor and rolled that 9, then the 20 armor minus your armor piercing would still eat up the 9. This weapon would still do 5 damage. Alright. And what was your dex modifier?
2, so that makes 11 and 12 damage, respectively.
Alright. The ship is basically going to crash. It is still functional and barely. It is still capable of continuing the fight. Knowing Union, it probably will. But oh no.
I know, a 13 may actually miss.
Oh no.
13 does miss by 1.
Now, I could make that hit.
That would destroy the ship.
I mean, when else am I gonna use my warrior focus or feature, right?
You can't use it to make an attack miss in space combat, so...
Oh, yeah, that's true. But then again, we're not expecting much.
Oh, no, I mean, you cannot use it for that.
Oh, you cannot?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, let's go ahead and make that hit then.
Okay. That...
You know, and that leaves us with another shot for the other boat.
Yep.
By the way, their healths were linked
The what?
on the tokens. The tokens' healths were linked.
Oh, I see that. Dang it. Roll 20.
Anyways,
Alright, well, whatever.
now that one's going out of the sky, let's go ahead and start break. Oh, wow. That's a nice damage roll.
Well, let's put this
18
one back
damage.
up to 25.
Yeah.
And we'll just delete you. Alright, yeah, that's certainly going to hit, and I think they're going to take a crisis on that.
Oh, alright.
So go ahead and roll it.
1d10.
Yep.
And that'll be all for gunnery, which leaves us with 1 command point. And then the bridge has -2 costs, so, you know, I guess they could, there's no rolling over command points, right? Forgot.
Nope.
No, command points do not roll over.
Access, yeah, there it is. Access points are lost.
They veer their ship off from the onslaught of little phased charges. I'm not exactly sure how to describe that except with visuals, but they're not far off from photon torpedoes from Star Trek. They are packets of energy that stream to a target and crackle and explode. And in trying to avoid this new onslaught that's turned on them, their targeting computers, satellites, and other external equipment is fried. It's not damaged, but there are some circuits that they're going to need to fix. They're not firing their weapons at you anytime soon, unless they fix them. Alright, that is gunnery. Captain, only bridge is left to act.
I refuse to let them take their turn. We just stay here forever.
Alright, what is bridge doing while idling and waiting for the captain to give them the go-ahead?
Go ahead.
Max is saying, so can we like do a flip or something and get around them, you know? And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take evade these maneuvers.
Okay.
And obviously Max ain't gonna do this. Elena, see you do a barrel roll. Oh wait, no, I forget. How do you actually roll this? Oh no, it's top right, isn't it?
Yep.
Skill.
I posted that Babylon 5 meme a moment ago, but a cruiser scale ship with this kind of armament doing a barrel roll, this thing really is a White Star, isn't it?
I don't know the reference. Sorry.
Is Elena proficient in barrel rolls?
Elena is proficient in barrel rolls.
Yeah, just wanted to make sure.
And
oh no.
Well, she's got a +1 to that from Izya.
That's difficulty
No,
9.
seven.
It is still difficulty 9, yeah.
Oh well. In which case, how much is CPs left?
1.
1. Okay.
Yeah.
Max is just gonna pat her on the back. Maybe better next time.
Well, the ship is doing something. One thing for certain is it's making some of the crew nauseous. But you know what? They should be in their crash couches anyways by now, so it doesn't, it's not her fault.
It's more of a spin than a roll.
Alright. We do come to the surviving patrol boat's turn. And,
I mean, I'm satisfied if they run away at this point. I got to do what I wanted to do.
Alright, well, I think it is reasonable to... Why did... Oh, I know why it's coming up as that. That's why it looks like default patrol boat. What is even going on? Okay. My Roll20 skills are lacking. That's what it is. Yeah, let's roll them a morale check here. Well, Union sticks to it. They do not surrender. They do spend their 5 command points doing escape combat, though.
Can we allow them to just do that?
Yes, you can.
Just call it a day? Yeah.
Yes, you can. There's the distinction is important so that if you want to on your next action, which is right now, you could blow them out of the sky, but they are clearly not trying to repair their targeting calibration. They are they're not surrendering or retreating. They're protecting Union property.
If they're not going to stop us from leaving, we should just leave.
We're merciful gods. We will allow them to live.
Okay. They've witnessed the massive firepower of the Raza firsthand and survived. They will probably get distinctions for that, for even having run up to the Raza and, you know, made threatening gestures.
So they reward stupidity.
Union?
Well, they reward something.
Look, there's a difference between stupidity, or bravery and stupidity, and I'm sorry, that was stupidity.
That
I'm
was
not sure that
loyalty.
Union makes the same distinction you do.
Ship combat resolved.
Hooray!
You guys are able to leave Pretoria and make your way back to the battle or to the edge of the system to do a normal jump out, or if you want, just pop out.
So we resolve the action here on Pretoria fast enough that anybody could leave via metaspace jump.
Yes, they could.
Spike drill. That is assuming that they're not in combat. They're going to be rushed if they try to do that.
Right, which is more difficult on this jump. It won't. Let's see. It's still a difficult jump. They will still lose people trying to rush it like that.
I'm trying to think, are they going to lose more by trying to leave now, or trying to stick out the battle, or maybe even getting stuck here for a month?
Well, that's also going to be complicated by Galactic Mandate's decision that Union is engaged in illegal activities out here and needs to be shut down. As long as this alliance holds and follows Galactic Mandate's command, this fleet that you brought is big enough to confront and has a chance to overwhelm the forces here. And that's Galactic Mandate's current position. So if you wanted to convince them to jump out to reduce their losses and leave, that's a conversation you'd have to have with Admiral Paris.
Well, I think we at least need to notify our fleet that the mission has been accomplished and that they are at liberty to depart if they want to.
Okay.
Probably right before we drill out, so that there's no risk of us getting intercepted.
Okay. So it's going to take you some time to get back to the edge of the system where this action is occurring anyways.
So that's part of the question for the rest of the group. Do we just want to pop out, or do we want to drill out?
Having started this, is there anything else to be gained by fighting Union's fleet, do we think?
I don't think so. I mean, we're convinced that the whole sector is going to get reset in 6 months or less. 3 months now.
Determined this place is no longer resetting, or
we're not
immune
sure.
This place is not immune to the reset anymore, supposedly.
Maybe.
But I guess that's not really proven, is it?
As far as we know.
Not crystal clear.
Well, surely someone here would have known about it, though, right? If it was immune to the reset, stuff would be different.
Well, okay, but on the other hand, that's a planet with no ecology anymore, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you take the rest of the sector away, and what happens to the people who are reset there? They starve to death. Or they leave.
Oh yeah, I guess
So
they
maybe
kind of
not.
end up in a cost situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in that case, it's kind of a point to taking out the battleship, or I don't know. Do they have? I mean, surely I guess the place somewhat can sustain some amount of population still through technology.
The Union's shipyard has a sizable amount of itself devoted to hydroponics to feed the mining and the shipbuilding population they have here. I don't know if that actually helps anything here.
Not sure it has a lot to do with the decision one way or the other. I just thought I'd make the point. We can leave. Several people will be very angry with us if we do. I don't really care so much about Admiral Paris, but the rest of these folks will probably not be very happy.
I guess the combat's over. I can stop the combat music. Let's go back to Tiamat. Oh, I haven't played this before, so it's gonna be loud.
So, hypothetically, aside from preserving the goodwill of a bunch of people who we don't think are going to be here in 3 months, one way or another, what do we stand to gain from participating in this combat?
Not really.
I mean,
Nothing that we know for sure.
We do still have a mission, although I've got to be honest, what did we learn by coming here? We've got the scientist.
The
That's
main
what we
thing
need to find
we
out.
learned by coming here was that Mectora is not the only planet that was involved in this, and actually looks like it's an attempt to recreate whatever was going on here. Mostly
So
that.
in that case, before we depart, do we have a comprehensive planetary scan?
Yes, you did.
Okay, that's data that we should deliver to Mectora.
Yep, probably.
Okay.
I mean, we could, in theory, just pop back out to Audrima now.
The Raza, since the infodrive has been installed, has not been to Audrima, but you can pop over to Zenthra where it has been, and it's a fairly quick jump from there.
Okay. Have we not taken it to Audrima in the meantime?
Mm-mm.
I mean,
Apparently
we've
not.
been popping around for the last 3 months.
No, there was nothing, no allies or anything that could really be recruited into this fleet battle in Audrima.
If it was
Okay.
in Audrima, it was there to get us, and presumably we left instead because that was more efficient.
I have a question. If we
Efficiency
were
we
to
trust.
look at the flight logs of the Raza,
Mm-hmm.
how far back do they go?
They go to the point at which the memory wiped crew woke up. Actually, sorry, not even that far. The black box was taken when the Raza was salvaged, scavenged, and set on a collision course for Stead. So, without recovering the Raza's black box that was stolen from it, those flight logs only go back to when this cycle started, basically. Well, this campaign cycle
Shit.
started. Yeah. And Tulare, you make a fair point that it's been 3 months, and there's no reason that the Raza would not have gone to Audrima after installing the infradrive, knowing that you needed to be somewhere to get to go back there. So I'm actually fine with just saying that the Raza can pop back over to Audrima.
Okay. I don't know yet if we're going to. I just wanted to verify that it was a possibility.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. You can if you want to.
I guess maybe ask a different question then. Is there an obvious fast way to make it safer for everybody else to leave?
Was to show presence while they tried to drill out. So it takes, what, 15 minutes to drill? And a combat round is 15 minutes.
Well, it takes 30 minutes to drill, but you can
Is
do
it
it
30?
in 15 minutes with a +2 modifier to the difficulty.
And that's what I'm remembering.
Yeah. So you can, it's just more difficult, and more difficult means that more ships will be lost.
Yeah, I suppose we can wait around. Try and
I have
see
another
who.
question.
Mm-hmm.
We used the metaspace scanners to establish that there were no Vega on the planet.
Uh-huh.
Were we able to use them against the Union fleet?
No, you were not.
That would also maybe not be a bad idea.
That
So
is
one of those pieces of information it would be good to hand off.
Yeah. That is going to take time. That would probably put you past the 3-day window, and obviously the Raza could pop out at any time. You're not beholden to that. But we're trying to scan the whole Union fleet in amidst the chaos of battle is
We don't need to scan the whole Union fleet.
okay.
We need to scan Union's command ships. That's where they'll be. Again, if they're following any sort of logic that makes sense in terms of how they've managed to get this operation started. Now, Union showing up to mine a planet full of a valuable mineral that appeared abandoned makes pretty much, pretty good sense on its own. But I feel like they didn't find it by accident.
Okay. So that is also an option, and of course you can also scan the massive shipyard.
Right. Those would be the two places to look.
You're still stuck at the decision of whether you're going to. Let me put it in these terms. If you do nothing, then Galactic Mandate and the Allied forces will remain here battling the Union fleet to the bitter end. You can send instructions to Raza forces telling them to escape combat and drill out. If you do not tell them to do that, then what do we got going on here?
It's a Maya.
Oh, okay. If you do not send them orders telling them to, then they're going to just, if you basically say do it if you want to, then they're going to continue with the last orders they actually got. They'll stay the course and continue to support the fleet as it is. So you'd have to be a little bit more strong-worded than I think Tulare had originally voiced, but you can tell your fleet to pull out.
I think really the issue is that the stakes don't really feel very high either way.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I guess just leave them. I'm just kind of, it's like I'm just kind of, we're at the reset and everything. It's kind of like, unless they're gonna go to Mektora or something.
I will throw one carrot out there. If the battle goes the way of the Allied forces, then you can take the shipyard, and that's probably their actual command post.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the main thing. I think stay to the battle the ship, because like securing the shipyard may actually yield some information too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would expect it to.
Which is really which is the only thing of real value at this point is information, right?
Yeah.
There's not really much other currency that matters to us anymore. So, yeah, I think, let them stay the course, and if we get information about that, because really the routes could pop back in outside of the window too, right?
Right.
And it was a monthly window.
I guess.
Go ahead, Knox.
Objective speculation. Do we have any way of knowing whether or not this world will be reset after time passes?
Current expectations are no, but we're not sure.
Depends if we want to leave something here to see if it does.
But also, that's not something that we could really come back and check ourselves.
No, but if we were to shoot down a ship, make it, land in a certain area or certain wreckage in an area, then teleport back and then leave that information.
Or chair face into the moon.
Actually, I say that, but we actually could come back and check for anyone that was left on Mektora and with the ship able to get here.
I'm gonna give you more information. The Raza may not. Well, let me use more periods. The Raza won't be able to pop back here. The conditions that of Tiamat 777-7 that make it that give it only a 3-day window to drill in and out. It's moving through metaspace far too much for the Raza to actually get for the infradrive to get an anchor.
Gotcha. To get back here.
Yeah, through metaspace and physical space. It is one of the systems that the infradrive cannot go to.
Okay. We could theoretically. It doesn't matter, because I think that the meta knowledge that things don't matter here at this point. We've gotten the thing that we came for. The universe is ending. Trying to make a decision based on long term, when the long term is 6 months or so, or 3 months or so at this point, is kind of useless, in my opinion. On a character level, maybe honor. This is our duty. We brought people here, but it doesn't actually matter. If this place resets, we could. Since we're not allowed to land the Raza on the other planet, we could land the Raza here and leave someone there to kind of bring it back.
Were we not allowed to land the Raza on the other planet?
Yeah, they did not want you landing any ships there.
So
they weren't even letting you have the hedgehog over there.
Yeah. Raza duplication.
One piece of information that you would get from the shipyard, almost certainly would get, is the condition of this system when Union did arrive, however they came here. So your questions of were there wrecked ships that had gone through a reset? You should find the answer to that on the shipyard.
We're better off at least staying until the window to leave gets closer to closed, I think, to try to make sure that the fleet that showed up here wins. I think that's probably the conservative play.
I think it's fine.
Can we pop out of this place?
Yes, you can.
Then we should be able to theoretically pop out of this place post-Scream if there is a reset.
We have 3 days before you can't leave here by spike drill. Right?
Yeah.
And then another, what, 28 days before you can again?
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to be able to leave here one way or the other if we win. It's just a question of how soon.
And the fleet that came, knowing that there was a 1 month, break between entry and exit windows, came with enough food for 2 full months.
Yeah. So at the very least, we should stick around until the exit window is closer to closed and try to make sure that our side comes out ahead now that we've committed them to this.
Well, and especially since I think we've determined that now that we actually do have
something to gain.
The strength to do so. Going in was a little bit uncertain, but now that we're here, it's kind of like, okay.
Yep, we should stick this out at least that long.
Yeah. In retrospect, the subterfuge was not terribly necessary, but...
No, it allowed the Raza to slip off and not get chased down by a Union fire ship, which means something different to Union than it does to, I guess, reality. I did not realize what fire ships were when I named the Union fire ship. But for example, Union fire ships are cruisers that have a cruiser-sized variant of the mag spike array.
It allowed us to gather data from the planet unimpeded. Now we're deciding whether or not we're going to join the fight to gather additional data from the shipyard unimpeded.
Yes, that is a much better way of putting it. Thank you.
Makes sense to me.
I'm for it.
I'm for it.
Okay. Moment, please. Okay, so the force that you brought here was just slightly less than the force that Union holds here. However, that was all calculated without the inclusion of the Raza as a fighting ship. So, including the Raza, while it is not a battleship, it is the Raza.
It is formidable.
Very formidable, yes. So I will say that about evens things up, and this is going to be just a straight on slugfest between Allied forces and Union. Let's do this in day-by-day rolls instead of anything else, instead of being like hourly or anything. We're certainly not rolling ship combat for hundreds of ships. That would be painful.
That'd be lovely.
That would be something.
That would be, okay, someone load up Stellaris.
I mean, I can.
Stellaris, I don't think they had like a little like combat mode thing then, did they?
No.
Like,
Stellaris
there's better.
Stellaris basically just slamming fleets to each other and seeing what happens.
That's all I want, actually.
Yeah, but no, it doesn't let you just like hot drop in like that. I think
it
there
does
are
with
games...
console commands, but
Yeah,
I
I
don't
was
know
gonna
them.
say there's got to be ways of doing it. But there's also
games that, dedicated to that too.
Oh, I'm sure there are. True.
Gosh, I can't remember. There was one I played a little bit.
Something or another space battles, I think.
I think what we're going to do is just a straight 2d10 roll. Go ahead and roll for your side, and I will roll for a Union. I had also, in my planning, gone through many different complex variants of figuring out how the Battle of Attrition plays out, and cast them all aside because they were all terrible. Okay. Did I just roll? Oh no, okay. I rolled an 11. Someone roll me 2d10.
Me.
Do it.
I'm not gonna fight.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Weak spy.
Okay. That works for this day. The Raza was not present in this battle for most of the day, and Union did outnumber in both number of capital ships and firepower on all their ships, because the Union likes guns. And so the late addition of the Raza, that actually turns the tide. Your crew is terrified, but doing their duty. Well, not terrified. There are some that are terrified, but others that have gone to it with stoic reserve. Notably, your Russians, Ivan, Alexei, and Elena, they're here for this. Armstrong is obviously scared, but is functioning at full capacity. Armstrong is basically getting that +1 to everything in this tense situation. Your other crew that you have here are putting in the moves, and you've come around, flanked, and opened up a vulnerability in the Union strategy that Galactic Mandate's Admiral Paris quickly capitalizes on. Forces are making headway. Who wants to roll day 2?
I'll roll day 2.
Alright. I got an 11 again.
Oh. I didn't roll an 11.
More ships detach from the Union shipyard. They're not fully prepared. They're not fully ready. They're probably lacking life support in most of the ship and other vital functions.
That's what fact suits are for.
They are
Right?
exactly. They are effectively making a suicide run, knowing that they have enough air and support to make it to this battle, and if it ends today, to return to the shipyard. Otherwise, they are dead in the water. That's what Union is sending right now, and it's pushing back on the bro flank.
Bro.
Not the bro.
Who's rolling day 3?
I said Oogie.
Dulaire.
I've got it.
Oh no.
Surely you can beat that.
Come on, come on.
Now this is about the difference between the numbers, right?
This is basically about the difference, yeah.
Oh, hey, nice.
Demoralized by the destruction of several bro ships by these essentially suicidal kamikaze fighters. The bro had underestimated them, had not expected humans to fight like them, but that's exactly what Union did. It has dampened the feeling, the mood, the atmosphere throughout the ship, but Admiral Paris is trying to keep things together. And why doesn't somebody from your ship here, if you want Ugi to do it since you made this roll, or anyone else who would be adept at this, give us some kind of a rousing speech as to why you're still fighting and not withdrawing. By the way, Tulare,
just
you
a
are the
bro,
default
bro.
if nobody else wants to.
I can give you a non-rousing speech.
I mean, I already gave the bro a rousing speech, so I'm trying to think of something fresh to say to them.
Well, this would be everyone. The bro don't need a rousing speech. The bro are here to fight. They just underestimated the suicidalness of this foe they're facing. It's everyone else that needs to be roused. It's the humans who didn't come here just to fight. The humans who came here to fight for something other than combat.
Allied fighters, you see here both the callousness and the desperation of Union. These forces may not be permitted to persist. Look at what they do to their own people for nothing more than the aggrandizement of military power. We are not here on a mission of conquest. We are here on a mission to defend the freedom and safety of our sector.
Appropriately epic music backdrop too. All right. The speech, the combined, tactics of Admiral Paris, speech of Oogie, and repeated and, not repeated, smaller speeches on various ships inspired by Oogie's words have resonated through the Allied forces and put their backs back into it, put their hearts back into it. It is not a complete rout of Union forces. It is, however, a destruction of their most fearsome ships. They do not have any more capital ships. They are very, very short on cruisers. Everything else is basically just a cleanup right now. But that cleanup is going to take into the next day and outside your window. So it is.
So I think at this point, if we've clearly won, those who feel they need to leave for some reason, including us, should. It sounds like we're okay.
Were we going to try to gather more information from the shipyard, though?
Yeah, if
the shipyard will still be there in a month. We can let Galactic Mandate do it if they're staying, since they want to arrest everybody and fully document all of the, illegal activities here and this, that, and the other. I assume the mercenaries are staying as long as they get paid.
Mm-hmm.
We could come back and find out what there is.
Do we have other Raza? Are there any other Raza ships here?
Yes, there are.
Okay, if they have infraworld scanners, they can provide some of the important intelligence on the shipyard then.
I'm going to put the focus on you guys, especially since you guys are in the Raza and aren't actually hampered by the window requirements. If you want information from this shipyard, then you guys will have to, the Raza, you guys will have to stay for the next day. Otherwise, it's going to get caught up in the bureaucracy of Galactic Mandate, cataloging things, and it in a.
But we'll have to stick around. I forgot we could leave even if nobody else can. But anybody who needs to leave, the wounded, etc., probably should at this point. Is more what I'm getting at.
Yes, that is definitely an option, and that will, of course, it'll put a little bit more stress on the forces that stay, but you've got an entire faction who likes that kind of stress. The Bro are fine with that. They understand that humans are weaker, and if some of those ships need to leave to lick their wounds, that's perfectly normal. That's normal human behavior for them. So the cleanup will get done, even if, as you're suggesting, the ships that need to leave and make repairs and get people to emergency medical services take off.
I think that's what should happen, and then we should stick around and check out the station.
Okay.
Did we have the opportunity during the fight to scan any of the larger Union ships?
You did. And as you suspected, there are or were infraworld signatures on them.
Uh-huh. Okay. Are there any of those still out there?
A
ghost ship is what got Izzy into this.
Yeah. Let's say yes.
Well. Okay, so now we have two jobs. Those wherever we can still see Vega signatures, I guess those areas need to be quarantined in some way, and then we need to check out the shipyard.
Well,
Does that make sense?
I guess us vacant folks should be on cleanup for any Vega signatures, huh? So,
Nobody should go anywhere near any Vega signatures that we can detect floating around out there.
Except
so
for
it's
you
not like
guys.
they can. It's not like the Vega can multiply. So it's not like a contagion, at least.
I'm worried about
That
them
would be real
finding new
bad.
people to be inside and getting away.
Yeah. No,
We've
that's
actually got some more or less captive at this point, which is going to be revealing a different side to Izzy, I suspect. But we need to get to the shipyard first.
Okay. It takes the better part of the next day for the remaining fighting forces to clean up what Union ships are still trying to fight, so that it's safe enough for anyone to board that the shipyard. Union forces, they still have ground force. They still have troops on there, so it's recommended by Galactic Mandate at the very least that you focus on one thing at a time, clean up, and then shipyard. And they will assault en masse. Does your ship agree with that, or do you want to get to the shipyard while there's still potentially hundreds of Union soldiers there?
I think that's fine.
Okay. All right. The shipyard is taken easily with the full might of your the remaining allied forces, including all of the bro, except for those that got blowed up. There's Union just they don't have enough security. They didn't have hundreds there. They had a surprisingly small number of security actively stationed there. It's a small enough that the Raza, with its security complement, could have taken the shipyard. You probably would have lost people. But here, you have access to the shipyard. What do you want to know? Well, let me answer the question that I put on a carrot to entice you here in the first place. The Union computers, the Union records there, they registered a planet with traces of indium and unknown mineral and metal constructs. They did not identify them as ruins initially. That came with later analysis and actually with their first mining pit. You're able to very conclusively confirm that there were no recent remnants of other ships. There were no ships that looked like they had survived a recent time loop. Everything here was billions of years old when they got here.
Well, that's something.
It is flagged as an anomaly, and apparently that the fact that this planet and sun were identified as being older than the universe itself did merit scientific review. And so when Union first came here, they sent out a request for a earthy type person or to come out. This was hundreds of years ago, so it wasn't Summerfield's that time. But they at least recognized that it was an unusual situation and requested a scientific review.
How did they find out about the planet?
They their details on that are a little bit sketchy. but bear all the marks of someone told them it was here.
Okay. What other questions do we have?
I think to expand on that, Oogie's admin, at the very least, can see the kind of doublespeak and the evasiveness of language in citing the source as to how they knew how to come here. It's very similar to when they also found out about where did they find out about Artemis? I think they found out about Artemis, yeah, and sent a small research expedition there.
So I think it's pretty safe to conclude that someone who is probably a Vega fed Union this information.
I mean, was it just the Vega, or?
Well, that's what I'd like to ask them about, which is why we need to round up some of these ones that are stuck out there.
Any other questions on the shipyard side before we get to the Vega?
Who decided to put a shipyard here? Because that's a whole other order of magnitude than let's mine this planet out.
Oh, that's actually very easy to find. Union has been planning to take over the sector ever since they discovered that there is a system out here that nobody else seems to know about, and which is apparently very difficult to get to. They were simply, this is very basic Union logic here. Build a massive fleet under everyone's noses, where they, they're in a literal blind spot. Build a massive fleet, leave the system, leave the system, take over the sector.
How are they supplying the building of the fleet? It can't just have been from this planet, can it?
No, it's from the asteroids that are outside of the what you guys identified in Audrema as being outside the time horizon kind of thing, the reset
that's
horizon.
Interesting all by itself. That's another pretty strong piece of evidence that this place is not resetting anymore.
Yeah. Audrema did have asteroids, but you could tell that they were being reset.
Yeah, the Beck told us so.
Yeah. This place has a similar-ish asteroid field, but they have encroached more into the solar space than they did in Audrema. So, yeah, I guess that is something that I should have told you early on. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's another sign that this place is not resetting. But yeah, no, Union is very efficient at mining asteroids for the metals that they need, and planets for whatever's on planets that can't be found in asteroids. They've been building this fleet from Tiamat 77-7.
You'd almost have had to bring in some things, though. But
oh yeah, no,
that.
they had a starter kit. They definitely did.
It would have to be a hell of a starter kit from the sound of it. But I got you. Okay. What else do we want to know? Anything?
I hadn't got that far. I had the expectation of an info dump, but I didn't have a chance to think of actual questions to ask yet.
Well, we're here. It's the time.
Yeah, it is the time. I'm still thinking about it. A lot of processing here.
We don't have to only do one at a time. No, we can jump over to some questions about Vega if you've got them ready for you, and come back to shipyard questions. There's no reason to, say, okay, you're done with that, you can't go back to it.
Okay, well, I mean, there's one obvious question. Do we have a safe way to imprison a Vega?
Yeah, actually, the Raza does have cells that safely imprison Vega.
How many cells?
I don't think Zoe modified more than one or two. Do Nox, Meowkin, do either of you remember?
Well, Zoe's here, so how soon can she modify more?
Alright. What was the question?
How many cells
There you
Zoe
go.
modified? I can actually make this easy. There is only one.
There weren't many.
Yeah, there is only one Vega signature that's still floating around out there.
Oh, more than 2.
Well, then we need to go get that person. I hope they were on the battleship.
They do seem to be in the vicinity of the battleship, although they're moving away.
We'll need to go get them before they
Sounds
can
like
get away and put
so,
them in
yeah.
the Vega-proof cell.
Sounds like someone's in a escape pod
Uh-huh.
of some sort.
No escape pod for you.
what
It was
are
no
you
more than
asking,
2
Tulare?
cells.
What are the logistics of getting somebody in there? I assume it's something like clear the corridors of all non-vacant personnel, keep them. I mean, we know the range of a Vega, right?
Yes, you do. They've shown a very clear range. They don't exceed that.
At what point? I mean, because there's a certain point where they can't leave the body, right? I mean, it's not pretty, but there is a certain point where if the body's too damaged, they can't leave.
If the body dies and there's nobody left to jump to, they're stuck in that body.
And we can still talk to them.
As long as you give them some way of, as long as they have some way of talking, yes.
Yeah, I mean, well, we can kill the body, we can leave the lungs and vocal cords intact, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
remember, Jai had that fleshy mask making cricket sounds.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, like worst cases we do that, but I feel like you can leave all that mechanism in place of the body.
We should
And
take
the
them
body's still
alive
be
if
dead.
possible, but I hear you.
Yeah, I'm just, it's just an idea. I mean, the Vega itself would. I'm trying to remember. Would they still be able to move around? And the dead body, quote unquote.
Yes, they actually create Vega zombies.
Izzy looks both unhealthily interested and a little disturbed by this information.
I mean, there's just a tactics you gotta resort to when you're dealing with something like a Vega.
Remember the condition you found Izzy in? Izzy is now actually wondering if he may in fact have died.
Well, I mean, but you're vacant.
Yeah, now.
I mean, so far as we're aware, it's a one-way street, right?
Yeah, you guys, if you recall also in, on Phyton, when, you were dealing with the consuming storm, the vacant that, got trapped in bodies there were only able to leave if they entered into an area where the infraworld was overlapping reality. So,
Actually,
yes, Knox?
that is a thing that we haven't tested in either thing. If somebody currently has a Vega, can we make them into a vacant with a Vega still in there? Or at least
Right.
that's what I pulled from that.
So we have ideas. Clearly we need to go pick up this escape pod.
Yeah. Well, the ship, the Raza, makes its way out to where the infraworld incursion is found, and Armstrong is giving you a little bit of grief, guff. Is giving a little bit of pushback. Says that the signal is showing something here, but there's nothing here.
For the infraworld scanning.
Mm-hmm. And then, there's some calibrations and some back chatter, and Armstrong insisting that they know how to work the scanners and they know what they're looking at, and then just goes silent and quietly puts up on screen a body that is just out in space, spinning.
Oh. Well, that makes this easier.
It is slowly moving away from you. Well, slowly, relatively. It's moving pretty dang fast, but
We'll need to go ahead and get a hold of that then.
you can load up your vacant into a shuttle, or the Marauder. The Raza does still have the Marauder on board, and fly out there, fly parallel to you. You see this corpse, about 50 meters away from the shuttle, matching speed. It looks at the Marauder. Every time its rotation brings its eyes back in line.
I guess we'll have to get it aboard.
It doesn't look happy.
Shocker.
What else does it look like?
Oh, well.
Amused.
It looks burned, and it looks frozen.
Okay, but we have access to Union's personnel records, so are we going to have to go to the DNA level to figure out who this was, allegedly? Or what?
With how badly its skin and it doesn't have great identifying features left. But
Right. Teeth and DNA.
That's not going to be too difficult. It has its dog tags on it. Identifying it really isn't a problem. I just wanted to put the visual out there that this body does not look great. It's not identifiable visually.
Okay. Well, but what do the dog tags say?
The dog tags say that this is just a private, basically. Just some Union soldier. This is a grunt.
That hardly seems right.
I mean, if their previous host got waxed and they thought jumping into this would be safer, maybe just to get away.
Could be. Could be.
We can always throw them into the cell and see if we can interrogate them.
I don't have any better ideas.
Because the infraworld scanners are still revealing that the Vega is still inside there. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. Well, isolation protocol between the cargo bay and the brig.
Okay. It doesn't put up much of a fight in you getting it onto the shuttle. It actually tries to assist you in getting it onto the shuttle. For whatever reason. And once inside the shuttle, it just sits there quietly.
Strapped to its gurney.
Okay, you guys have restrained it? That's reasonable.
Well, yeah, we're gonna restrain it.
Better safe than sorry.
You never know with PCs. Got it, nuts. Thank you.
We're gonna invite it to the lunchroom. Unbound. Yeah.
Make sure it's got a working knowledge of the command protocols for the Raza.
You know what?
That's going to be inconvenient.
Hand it the keys.
That's reasonable. It's going to outlive all of you, so why not?
Just going to go full on space seed here. Let me know where SETI Alpha 5 is.
After a few minutes on your way back, docking with the Raza, it finally opens its lips, and you hear a raspy croak. That's about it. It's trying to say something, but it's not being very successful.
We can wait.
I mean, its vocal cords is probably still frozen, so maybe we ought to take it back to where it can thaw out.
I mean, I'm assuming that there is such a thing as, deep space rescue at this point. We may as well put it through everything we can there medically.
Okay. Yeah, there are definitely things that can be done to a person that has been spaced to try and give them the best survival chances, and you can do some of those things for it.
It seems like the logical next step, as we are bringing it to a cell instead of medbay.
Okay.
I mean, what, get Sunny on comms and have her walk us through it?
Oh, I'm sure Marcus can handle it.
Yeah, remember, Marcus does have heal.
He makes it so easy to forget.
That he does.
Taps his little med box. Well, my med box actually work. It heals people, not kills people.
I mean, half the time I'm expecting your med box to be filled with fun stuff.
I mean, that's what morphine is for.
Right, it can be both.
All right.
Let's get this thing in the cell.
You get it in the cell. Apply medical measures to get it at least able to talk. Why don't you go ahead and give me a int heal on that?
Captain Pike chair if we have to.
Okay. Int heal. Heal with a little bit of int. Wait, what drugs do I have? I swear I have some squeal. Would squeal help in this scenario?
I feel like a dead body's not going to be able to metabolize it. I don't think you can drug a zombie.
It's only one way to find out.
I mean, what's it gonna hurt to try, right?
No, there is my int heal.
Okay. With that, you can effectively tell me what you're letting this zombie do. Its muscles and it took all the space damage. This body isn't capable of moving under muscle power. So is Marcus giving it full function? Is Marcus limiting it to just taking in and exhaling a breath and squeezing its vocal cords?
Transplanting the brain into a killer robot. No?
Keeping it subdued. It wants it to have some functionality, but not enough to move.
Okay. So he's to clarify that, do you mean that he's just letting it talk?
Basically, yeah.
Okay. Marcus notes while he's going over this that it doesn't have any kind of blood flow. Squeal isn't going to get anywhere that it would need to get.
Okay.
Oh, and you know what? Marcus has metapsynics. I'm going to give you more information because Marcus has metapsynics. Roll me his wisdom metapsynics.
Wisdom metapsynics. 12.
As Marcus is inspecting this medically, he's also seeing, and he's high enough skill to see, right? Like passively.
Sorry, say that again.
His medicine is high enough to passively see when somebody is psychic, not just when they're using psychics, right?
Yeah. Also,
okay, he's level 2. Okay.
I'm level 3. Where's the
Okay, perfect. That's good. Yeah, that's good enough. He's able to see that the twinklings of psychic power, or at least what show up as psychic energy to him. It's not actually psychic energy, but it shows up on his radar. Is it's connected to this body through nerves, and this thing doesn't need a functioning body to be able to move. You could paralyze all of the muscles in this thing, and it's able to still get up and walk around. Some finer details, like trying to make human-like words, require finer control over muscles, and that is probably the difficulty it was having earlier. But there's nothing that Marcus can see medically or medicinically that can be done to actually prevent this thing from standing up, except literally taking its legs off.
Not gonna go that far yet.
Okay. The closest parallel to what it's doing is effectively it's just got a telekinetic shell that it uses to control all the movements of the body. It is puppeting this body.
Okey-dokes.
The Vega containment cell is still an actual cell in the brig, right?
Yes, it is. It looks at you. We'll pass some of the initial efforts that the Vega takes to hide its identity. Every time the Raza has encountered these things, they have hidden behind the human identity, and this one is no different. It eventually admits that it is Jer.
Well, nice to meet you.
Like, as in Jerry?
Just Jer.
Huh.
I'll type it out to you, so you know it doesn't have the RY at the end.
I'm gonna call you Jerry.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, if it was Jerry, I'd be waiting for Kramer, George, and Elaine to show up, so it's for the best.
Yeah, you'd be more likely to get a Parks and Rec reference from me than Seinfeld. I watched half an episode of Seinfeld and then turned it off. It also was not for me. We are at 110. Do you guys want to push through, or do you want to take a 15-minute break and gather some thoughts on what information you want to know from Jer?
I mean, I could do 5 minutes just to refill my glass.
Okay.
Break time sounds fine.
Yeah, let's take a quick fiver, and I'll check back. What we'll do is I'll check back in 5 minutes. If everyone is here and ready to go, then we will proceed. Otherwise, you know, we'll give up to the normal 15 minutes, but we'll start with 5. All right. We return to the ominous music of Tiamat 77-7. We've got Jer in a box, who's finally given up the ruse of being a normal human soldier who happens to look like a zombie, and has no life signs. And have as much time as you need to ask questions. So I will add in flavors of the characterization, but we'll just do questions out of character. What do you want to know from Jer?
I mean, the most obvious is what's it doing here?
Well,
Wrong
Jer.
place, wrong time is not going to fly.
We do assume the worst.
Jer does say, wrong place, wrong time. And Jer slipped through a gap, a thinning, between the real space and the interworld, and took a human, and has been bouncing around for the last couple hundred years.
So wait, he's just an independent agent?
Jer's saying that he's just an independent agent.
Wow, I feel like I shouldn't assume all Vega, but all Vega, you know? But then again, there's also been a lot of different little factions of them.
So it's an independent agent in a forbidden star system that nobody knows about, where Union is building a giant fleet. It really thinks we're going to buy that?
Yeah, that seems very unlikely.
That doesn't hold together.
What?
Not buying it.
Just a little bit sus.
Jer thinks that you're being unreasonable.
Jared has not begun to see me be unreasonable.
I take it the squeal doesn't work, right?
The squeal does not work, though.
Okay. Well, you know, again, it doesn't hurt anything to try. Right.
But to tell you the truth, other than leave it in here and indefinitely until it feels like actually telling us what's going on, I don't know there's a lot we can do now. Taking ideas.
I just want to know, how does Jer feel about the impatient and their counterparts?
Well, funny you should mention that. Jer is familiar with the impatient and their counterparts from his travels, and Jer thinks that they're impatient, that they are meddling with things that they should not be meddling. This is, of course, all expressed in familiar-ish terms for those who've interacted with less immersed Vega. Jer seems to be one of those less immersed Vega. He's less affected by the humanity of the hosts that he has occupied. And
not as afflicted by the human condition.
What's that?
Not as afflicted by the human condition.
Not as afflicted by the human condition. And sees the actions of the impatient as they're not doing what they're supposed to do.
Does Jer couch it in that terminology? Because all of the other Vega we've talked to have implied this notion of
You cut out after the notion of.
This notion of doing what they do because that is all that Vega do, right? They simply act as one does.
Yeah, doing what they do because it is what one must do.
Is Jer implying then a sense of willfulness that we have not heard from other Vega?
Sort of, but in the other way around. Jer is attributing willfulness to the actions of the impatient.
Whereas he's just kind of existing.
Yeah, he's saying that the impatient are attempting to manipulate things in a way that is not what they're supposed to do. They're the Vega are supposed to simply herald in the ultimate subsumption of the universe, because that is what they do. But
not bring it about.
Yeah, don't bring it about. And he also takes issue with the other faction on fighting. You don't try and corral humans or make gods of yourself for whatever they were doing over there on fighting. He thinks they were both wrong.
So has he like met the people on fighting too?
He was a Union soldier passing through.
So like, so far as Vega go, he's actually kind of well traveled, I guess.
He's fairly well traveled. He at some point in all this conversation, you would learn that he doesn't spend too long in any one host, and says that that Union some months back had actually discovered a technology that could find Vega. For those of you that may have been part of any of my universe games, there was actually a
Who was there?
Yes, yeah.
Is that Felix?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wait. Is this the Vega that was in Felix?
This isn't the same Vega that was in Felix, no.
Okay. That'd be what a twist.
But Jared did originally come from Hlif. That's where the split between the seams of real space and the infraworld were thin enough for him to cross.
Were we aware of a possibility of that there?
You haven't gone to Hlif to identify if they have any condensers there.
But usually there's the whole fog thing going on.
Well, that's more data for the...
So I guess there could be like
Yes.
just a single one that's not enough to actually cause the whole fogging of the whole planet thing, right?
There
Right.
are possibilities.
Single condensers, especially when they're first started up, and if they're, not run constantly. Let me start over. The fog is a result of them basically going into overdrive and putting themselves on a self-sustaining loop.
Right. Yeah. So there can be isolated ones with no real issue.
Yeah. There have also been accounts through history of possessions that have been given some borderline credibility as potential Vega slipping into real space in some of the research material you guys found on in Artemis.
See, I'm more interested in the angle of this where up until now the Vega we've spoken to seemed to imply that they all simply acted as they must. Like, they didn't seem to believe that there was free will among the Vega. So this one implying that these other groups have free will and are abusing it is novel.
Jer looks down on them as having been corrupted by humans.
Whereas his space hobo act is the right approach?
Uh, yes. He is still Vega, and he is still doing what he does because it is what must be done. Jer seems to have a perhaps a human, small-ish human level of pride in what he is, what he's done, and in the company that he has chosen.
Well, that's a lever. What has he got to be so proud of?
That he will be on the right side of history when this universe is subsumed into the infraworld. And he does fairly soon after that line of questioning, utter a phrase that you've heard and seen before. The black ships are coming. Except you guys know the black ship has already come.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There are a lot of potentially useful things to ask this guy, but I don't think we have anything else specific, do we?
Does he know any other factions of Vega that he knows of? Other than the two big ones.
There's some disdain for the Jodi. But he doesn't know who or what the Jodi is. Just that it's a cause of some sort that humans have again perverted into some Vega.
That's right. The Jody was a thing. Is that Onalau?
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
came from Onalau?
And Crew has recited the Jodi speech, as it were. I think you may even be able to search it in discussion.
Jodi, right?
Yeah. Yep. I can pin it if you'd like.
Oh, Jodie.
Jodie. Yes, sorry. Here. Tulair. Oogie's got good connect, right?
Yes.
What level is this connect actually? Let me start there.
+3.
That's the actual skill is skill level 3?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Then you can make this roll, but you're going to get any information no matter what your result is. Anyone else with a skill of 2 or higher, a connect of 2 or higher, can also roll connect wisdom.
Oh, I only have 1.
Tulair, it's very subtle, but Jer is expressing the kind of communal outlook and pride of union community. That may be a Vega thing. But more likely, Jer is not as unaffected by his selection of human hosts as he is represented or believes. And with a 12 there, I'll say that there's some pretty clear markers about you know, that one would use to profile if someone has grew up in a union culture. He has them.
Okay. So Oogie is not going to point that out to him, but Oogie might try to flatter him with that fact. But I got to think of a question that I want to ask if we're going to flatter him for more information.
Okay.
Give me a second here.
No worries. While y'all are thinking of questions for Jer, has anybody come up with anything else you want to know from the shipyard?
Well, if we can identify Jer, how long has he been assigned there? The body, rather.
Yeah, Jer actually, for all you can tell, and I think your guys' skills are high enough that I will make this less uncertain. Jer seems to be telling the truth that he slipped through on Halif and hopped from Union host to Union host. Didn't really have any driving ambition to get to, it wasn't trying to get to the admirals or take control of anything. And through numerous host jumps and swaps, encountered the factions on fighting, and eventually ended up in a body that came to Tiamat 77-7.
So
This does give you the information that yes, Union has sent people here, at least within the last 100 years.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of curious. Like there were lines of communication and traffic with Union outside of the sector.
I'll let that open up further into let's say that the doctor had said that she'd been here for about 15 years. That's the last time anyone from Union has come over.
Interesting. So what was the breakdown?
Well, I mean, I can suggest a tactic for interrogating this guy. You tell him that clearly he's accomplished nothing and get caught in the ass end of the universe doing nothing important at all. If he's got any kind of sense of, pride that he's accomplishing something, I mean, really, what did he accomplish? He was on a ship that got blown up out here in the middle of nowhere watching a bunch of humans do something that was unimportant. And, eventually that's going to get him to, I assume, push back against that impression.
I mean, I guess the guy seems like he just kind of go along with the flow, though, right?
no, he'll just insist, like every other Vega we've ever talked to, that I was doing what I must because I must. But I've got an idea. I do have a question for him now.
Okay.
Now, Jerry, it might have occurred to you, we've talked to
My
a few...
name is Jer. Not
What did I
Gary.
call him? I called him Jer.
Well, he may have heard Gary.
Okay.
I was thinking it.
Jer. It might have occurred to you that we've talked to a Vega or two in our time. We've talked to the Impatient, we've talked to the Regime, we've talked to the Jody. We are cosmopolitan. But none of them could ever exactly explain to me why what they must do is what they must do. And it's obvious to me now, that's because they'd actually abandoned what they must do. They had been corrupted. Now, if you are truly a source of wisdom in this regard, I need to know, why is this what you must do? What makes this so inevitable? That question has consumed me, and I think that you might be able to answer that for me. And Oogie is leaning in. He's expressing rapt interest in this philosophy that Jer is about to share.
It is the timeless march that all universes take into nothingness.
But how is it that the Vega play a role in this? What is their role?
One moment, please.
Started watching that on Friday, and I'm like, oh, okay, I can place this now.
I like it.
I don't know what show that's from.
True Detective.
Ah.
Matthew McConaughey's character goes full antinatalist repeatedly in the interrogation room.
Yeah.
What was that word?
Antinatalist. That people are born in the first place is actually the core problem of the universe.
I hate this place. It's the smell.
Okay. I am taking a quick GM note refresh, because I have mentioned before that the Vega are a blue and orange morality trope, or philosophy. And I, of course, want to ensure that I am not trivializing that into things easily described in human philosophy. Okay, so give me a real quick refresher of the wording that Oogie used here.
That obviously these other factions have abandoned doing what they must. And that Jer, who is still following the way of what he must, can explain to me why it is what must be done, which he has kind of done. It's the inexorable march of the universe into nothingness. And, why are the Vega involved in this? What is their role in this march?
Okay. So, Jer's response here is initially just more of the same. It is what must be done because it must be done. It is there's a little bit of an ant following a pheromone trail mentality in this response, but there's a little bit of something else underlying that that Oogie and crew might be able to pull out with a skill check here. I think your angle and your roleplay reasoning is fantastic, and we're going to prop that up with a skill check and any other assistance that the team can offer on that skill check. So an obvious first choice would be talk if you want to use that. I'm happy to accept other options. This is going to represent a little bit of a continued back and forth with Jer, trying to pull from him a little bit more meaning from their mantra of it is what must be done because it is what must be done because it is what must be done.
With the angle of teasing out specifically what is it that must be done.
And further than simply the subsumption of the universe. Because, yeah, that's something he kind of already knew, and he hasn't given much, but he is. I just want an idea of how much. So what skill check do you want to roll for that? Any of you, as a party. Did I lose everyone except for Tiller?
No.
The skill I want to roll won't work.
I can shoot him.
That seems unwise.
Look, when you have shoot skill, everything looks like a target.
I am experiencing an extremely similar dilemma related to telepathy here, yes, but
well, you can always default that to a talk check.
I mean, I have another check that I could make if nobody else has any ideas.
What's the other check you're thinking?
I mean, I've got no two. Oogie could express knowledge that the universe would march itself into nothingness, but it's going to take another trillion years. So why the rush? And
Okay.
you know, what purpose does the the Vega incursion now play?
Let's actually.
It is
Yeah, let's go with that because it's a different angle than we've seen already. Of just
I
trying
actually
to.
think I might have just figured out how to go with the skepticism angle too. If we can identify the human host that Jer is in, I can probably get a hold of his service docket and go over all of the many doubtless really boring and not very interesting at all things he's been doing for the last 15 years, and continue to express skepticism that this has anything to do with anybody's plan at all.
Well, he's already told you that he hasn't been in this body for 15 years.
In which case, he's been in the system and not in this body, which also matters, and I missed before, so that's good.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's an important detail.
So does anybody want to roll something before we get to that? Anything to assist Oogie's battling philosophy and physics against Jer?
I don't think I have anything that's convincingly helpful.
I ain't got nothing.
Let's see how Oogie
I'll
does
make a
it.
roll to have made a roll, but I think Oogie's got this, or not.
We believe in Oogie.
that's a mistake.
I didn't say it was a mistake, but we do believe in you.
That's a good
That's
roll.
not too bad.
Yeah, that's a good roll. Jer follows the reasoning that the universe is going to heat death itself anyways. That is what Jer is supposed to do. That is the purpose of the Vega in Jer's, we do what we do because it is what must be done. That's actually very, very close to Jer puts it a little bit condescendingly, but that is the closest that human comprehension can come to what the Vega do. And this, to an outside observer, would just wrap right back around to we do what we do because we must do what we must do. But in Oogie's finessing and needing of this conversation with the physics and a little bit of philosophy, you bring out some pieces of information that into collective, or I'm trying to avoid saying you come to the conclusion because that's telling you what your character thinks, but let me put it this way. One could come to the conclusion that every time the Vega have said we do what we do because we must it is what we must do, has been completely in line with the heat death of the universe, that is what they facilitate, that every little piece of the infraworld coming into real space is leading to the heat death of the universe, not specifically accelerating it, just a part of it. And that the anomalous factor in all of this isn't that they have Vega coming in and trying to accelerate it. It's that humans have found ways to open portals to the infraworld, letting more of the infraworld into real space. So humans open portals, Vega see that there's infraworld in real space. Vega come into the real world and continue pushing the heat death of the universe.
Long story short, it's ultimately humans' faults.
Oh, it's always humans' fault.
Basically claiming that there is some natural infraworld incursion, that the accelerated heat death is all the result of allowing too much of the infraworld into real space too fast.
Yes, with a very fine line that Jer does not consider this accelerated. The humans bringing the infraworld into real space is what must be done. It happens, and therefore it happened.
It is no. This is an internally consistent argument. This is basically ecological damage on a universal scale, but it is done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's spicy.
Jer, believes that the Vega do nothing wrong. That this is what happens to every universe.
The Empire did nothing wrong too.
The Vega are fish flowing through a hole in the dam.
But some of them are carrying the hole wider.
But they're not supposed to. That's not what is meant to be done.
Jer condescends those that tear the hole wider as corrupted by humans.
That sounds right. Everything was down to humans' fault.
Another analogy would be that Vega are ants whose anthill has been moved near to a corpse or a source of food, and are cleaning it up.
I don't like that analogy.
The corpse is the universe, see?
Yeah, see that's why I said I don't like that analogy.
Did you have
I mean,
Go ahead, Ben.
I was gonna say, like, what else can we really try and like pull out of this Vega?
I think Aura had a follow-up. Did you still have that thought you wanted to explore?
If the last time any new people came into this system, as far as we can tell, was 15 years ago, because judging from the station records.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's
Who
correct.
was Jer riding around in until before he was in this poor guy?
He was in a janitor up until a few hours ago, and before that, a few months ago, a few months before that, he was in a child on the what is it, the shipyard. Didn't stay there long before jumping into the janitor. Before the child was in someone else. Jer had a smorgasbord of hosts on that shipyard and on these various ships.
Is that unusual?
Not if you
As
ask
far as we
Jer.
know. Well, yeah, but I mean, compared to other Vega.
In the sense that other Vega are trying to get things done. You are right to question why he hasn't just gone straight to the top of a political or organizational structure. The difference there is that those that go to the top, the angelic choir on Kos, the priests, the church, the clergy on Phaeton, they're all putting themselves in positions to do the things that they want to do. And that's what Jer is saying is wrong. That by him simply being here, he is doing what he's supposed to be doing.
It's either a line of bullshit or profoundly low energy on this guy's part, from what we know.
There is still, as Tuller kind of, or not Tuller, Oogie kind of pulled out, intuited, there is also a bit of union company line in there. Union also has a, you do the work that you're assigned to do because you're part of this union. Everybody works for the collective. It was a very good fit for Jer, but or for Vega, but Jer has also. It's hard to tell where the Vega and the Union influence comes in, but there's definitely Union cultural influence in his responses. Does that help, or did I fail to put a period on that?
It doesn't help, but you've put a pretty clear period on it.
Okay. Yeah, I think the period there is that Jer is doing what Jer believes Vega should be doing, which
is towing the company line.
Dicking around.
I mean, that's par for the course with Vega, though, right? Anytime you ask them why they do what they do, they've always got the answer: because it is what must be done.
Yes.
To some degree, they are sociopaths, one and all. They do what must be done, and there is no morality to it. It is simply inevitable.
They are Thanos.
I am inevitable.
That is actually one of the bullet points in my Vega notes is this is not an arrogance thing. It just is the way of things. So sociopath reference isn't far off either.
I mean, they view themselves as simply drifting in the current of, I mean, not even of time. They don't believe in time. Drifting in the current of existence. We perceive them differently. We perceive intentionality and evil in their actions, but they're just twigs in a stream.
Okay, what else do we have to do here?
Yeah, so this has been the philosophy lesson of Darkstar today. What else do you want to do here? Was there anything else you wanted to confirm about this system or union's activities here?
Seems like we're pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm.
All right. Well, we're an hour away from the end of the session. And if you're done here on Tiamat, we have the option of if you believe your individual character denouement will be short, we could do them today, and end the campaign. If you'd like to instead do that next week, because I didn't actually warn you that we'd be doing it this week, have time to think it over and a little bit more breathing room so that we're not going over, we can also do that next week. But I don't know how long anything that any of you want to do will take, except for Ben.
Yeah, mine's just gonna be quick.
Yeah, I don't think Archibald has anything especially complicated to go through.
Okay. I think Izya's is likely to be the longest, but I don't even think that that will be very long.
I mean, it is and it's not, because it's not going to be important to anything.
It's just a kind of a way to send your
He's a
character.
character with a lot of unresolved threads in a universe that's about to end that are not going to get picked up again. So, no, it can be quite short.
Okay.
He does his best to get his ass on Mectora.
All right. What would you guys like to do as a group? Is saying this is the last session today too soon?
I mean, I'm good with whatever at this point because Max's his destiny is sealed.
I mean, I suppose the more interesting thing Archibald could do is join in the hunt on the constantly reviving guy. But
Yeah.
otherwise, he's just gonna wait out his time.
I mean, yeah. That was it for Max as well. Trying to torture that dude by stopping him coming back. And then killing himself once he's found the answer, but...
So I see room there for at least 2 arcs, because I was thinking Oogie is kind of already taking care of his business. But I had the notion that he would empathize with Izya, that he might go and try to help Izya, see if he can uh, do something about his former crew before hightailing it back to Audrema.
Don't worry about it.
Well, all right. So let me go down the line here. Nox, are you able to hear us? Are you able to speak? I mean.
Mic test.
Yes. How's your battery doing? Do you have talking
I'm
time?
on life support at this point.
You
Yeah,
what?
I just have to have the. I'm on life support at this point. I just need to be on a worse quality mic.
Okay. Okay. So it will survive through a quick thing. Would you prefer to send Amaya off into the reset today, or would you rather wait until next week?
I'm fine going into the reset.
Okay. And just to be
Epilogue stuff is epilogue stuff, but there's not really anything to explore there.
okay. And just to be clear, doing it today basically means that today will end up being the last session.
Mhm.
Okay. Very good. Meowkin.
Yeah.
Are you okay with doing Archibald's epilogue today, or would you like to have a session next week and spend more time on it?
Yeah. I mean, so long as you don't have any high expectations for me, I'm fine with doing it today.
All right. Ben, I believe I know your answer, but I'll give you the opportunity to answer it for yourself.
I'm good with whatever. Marcus can either die today or hunt down the reviving man.
All right. And Tulair?
Today would be fine.
All right. And Aura, I believe your answer is the same?
I am fairly pro being done today at this
Okay.
point.
Yeah, I understand that you also have other obligations that you are looking to jump to. Let me actually start with you, just because I know that you were you said early on that you absolutely have to leave on time. So after the events in Tiamat 77-7, the Raza is free to jump out at any point. The ships that have needed to get people to emergency medical attention either put those people on one ship that jumped out, or on a ship that was jumping out, or left themselves. And then, of course, the Bro and the Galactic Mandate and the other remaining ships hung around, hunted down the Union ships to make sure that it was safe for everyone to storm the shipyard. You've done all that. The Raza has jumped back to. We're going to say that the Raza jumps back to Kamiego anyways, just as a place where people can offload and go their separate ways. Given the certainty that you guys have that the universe is resetting at that 10th chime, you're given a little bit of leeway with resources. And if that means that Izya is given a ship to hunt down the... oh, you had a cool name for it. The Yet to Be, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yet to come.
The Yet to Come, yes. If that, giving Izya a patrol boat to track down the Yet to Come with the information that Galactic Mandate has provided, then Izya gets that.
It's certainly what he'd try to do.
Okay. After a a few weeks of hopping and just barely missing them, Izya catches up and finds the yet to come.
Or at least the people from it.
Right, yes, the people from it.
Which include, for example, his brother.
His brother is would his brother be happy to see him?
Probably not, since, as far as we are aware, anybody who did live is very likely not themselves anymore.
There is
Unless by the time Izya finds them, they are.
well, there is a rational and very well reasoned response when Izya is spotted by one of his former crewmates and pointed out to his brother. Guns are drawn, and a call and response is demanded.
I'm going to intervene here because I think the concern was where all this vague language is jumping around is Aura thought that his people were possessed by the Vega.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And with in that same reason, if they are or are not possessed by the Vega, they would think that he might be.
Well, does Izya have the right answer for whatever it is they're demanding?
That's a difficult thing with the Vega because while they can't exactly read minds, they have the ability to kind of force that kind of communication in some ways. It's a troubled negotiation, but I think unless you think that this is inappropriate for Izya's background, I think the familiar, brotherly familiarity wins out. And they reunite with no bullet holes.
Well, mostly he just wants to know what happened to them. So sure.
Well, he tells Izya that several members of the crew were just that they went insane. They stepped into the airlock and simply flung themselves out while the crew, someone on the inside, locked out from opening the inner airlock because the outer one was opening, banged on the glass, banged on the little window, begged them not to, and just stepped into the void, and then stopped banging on the glass. Brother seems to have the most consistent story of all of them, as the others have had something strange that they did. There were at least 3 people on the crew that simply stepped out into the void. And from what Izya knows, the Vega that took over the Yet to Come was getting rid of people that could stand in its way, that were skeptical of things that were happening there. And of course, when somebody steps out of the airlock, that makes somebody else skeptical of what's going on.
Often.
Eventually, there was those that survived were the wiser of them. Those that stopped asking, "Where's Izya? When are we going back for Izya?" Those that stopped responding when something strange happened. Stopped letting it even be noticeable that something strange had happened. They described their time on the ship that left Izya on oh gosh, I forgot that planet's name.
Shakul.
Shakul, thank you. Yeah,
there you
Shakul. They described their time on the ship that left Izya on Shakul as torturous and terrifying, not knowing if it was Izya haunting them for leaving him there. That was actually a theory that floated, that it was Izya's spirit haunting them for leaving him abandoned on that planet, which they also couldn't explain why they did that. Someone had said, yeah, Izya's on board. He's here. He's there. Someone, lied. There was a... With what Izya knows now, it sounds like the Vega was actually having a conversation with itself at points, jumping from one host to another to call and respond.
That's extra weird, but not anything we can do anything about now.
It needed people to fly the ship.
Well, that much is true. It didn't know how, and I guess neither of whatever it picked up did. Or none of whatever it picked up did.
Yep.
Where did they end up?
Well, they ended up floating derelict in a system.
Pretty much exactly like the ship we found that started the problem in the first place.
Pretty much exactly like the ship you found that started the problem in the first place. Yeah, they had rendezvoused with another ship. 2 of the crew left them, and the 5 that were left on the little, what'd you have, a patrol boat? I think your Yaticum was a...
It was technically a free merchant, but it was not a big one.
Okay. I was thinking it had a higher crew capacity here.
Relatively small ship, not tiny, but
Okay.
Art dealing. You don't need a big ship. Art's small usually.
Yeah, fair enough. Maybe they had a higher crew capacity for some reason, because
While we were moving regular trade goods, it doesn't really matter. It was his brother's ship.
I think I've stepped
His name
at
can be
least like a
for
half dozen
conversational
people out
purposes.
into the void already.
Mhm. Yeah. Plus however many got in the first place.
Yeah.
Statues aren't small.
They're small and small, man. unless we're talking like Stela or Colossi or something. They're pretty small by spaceships scales. Anyway.
But yeah, there was a rendezvous with another ship that 2 of the crew left and got onto that ship. It's reasonable to assume that those were the Vega that you first encountered that caused all the problems, and the Vega that you picked up from Shakul.
Whatever it was about. It's over now. Like as. Well, with that, I think as you can go ahead and plant himself as safely as possible in the time loop.
Okay. Is he going to try and bring his haunted crew?
If they want to come.
How does he explain to them where they're going, or does he?
They were right about the ghost, and they should come. They should come with me because there's not a lot else for us to do anymore. After all that, they could use to relax, and I know a great place to do it.
Okay.
They'll want to know what happened to Izya, and the true fact is, whatever it was so bad he doesn't want to remember it.
And that brings us to the last question of Izya's denouement here. Does he want to reclaim those memories?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Sounds like he got rid of them very much on purpose, and he's okay with that.
Their faces are haunted more by memories of what happened to them on that ship than Izya's is by losing his entire life memories.
Losing everything was worth not remembering what happened to him on Shakul, according to him, and he's willing to take himself at his word for that.
Okay.
Like I said, especially now that Izzy knows that the Vega can move dead bodies, he's kind of starting to wonder if the reason the other Vega ditched him was because he was basically all but dead to begin with.
This one's heart may stop any second. I'm out of here. who'd like to go next?
Archibald can.
All right, Archibald.
Actually, I had a thought. I mean, his whole, I would say Archibald's going to dig into his background some more, and
Okay.
he is going to decide to maybe, I don't know, take some bounties on the people that used to hire him.
Okay.
Back
Is
on Kamiega.
is he doing this without his memories?
Yeah. No, he's just, digging into the records to do so. What records are? I guess the records are rather pretty spotty, but some of the more egregious people that hired him, he's like, well, let's take him out.
Move you guys over to the base.
I suppose if there's any dead ends, he could, but for the most part, he's just doing it as vacant.
He
Actually, I mean, I guess I could try. He's got a really poor constitution, so getting his memories back is quite the risk.
yes.
Tell
Well,
me about it.
he still has his skills free memory. And he has made a dubious relationship, not dubious, a ambiguous relationship with Acid, who, with Acid's trust, can bring along Eclipse, and Acid would actually like to help him in this if he's willing to accept her help.
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
what do I got to lose?
Yeah. Acid is very perfectly happy with hunting down and killing humans in their final hours, and Eclipse is very well equipped for exactly that. I mean, so is Archibald.
Mm-hmm. That would make a pretty mean team for assassinating people.
Yeah, just a bit. All right. What's the most exciting bounty that he hunts down? What happens there?
There's got to be at least one person that is wary of, or like identifies the pattern of assassinations and like gets into a panic room.
Oh yeah, definitely. The communication
so
network
that
on
one.
Kamiego is absent, but it's not absent.
Yeah, I mean it'd be after at least a few.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I imagine digging that tick out of the bunker. Be quite the event.
Okay. All right.
I don't have anything specific there.
Yeah, no worries. Archibald knows when the final pulse is going to come. You think he's just going about his business, or does
He's just gonna keep going.
it's just
Whether or not Acid and Eclipse that hang around or not.
yeah, no, they are perfectly happy to just be driving along and then suddenly not exist.
Yeah. Actually, no. Knowing exactly when it is, he's probably. Actually, you know what? Knowing the guy in the bunker, they're just gonna go. It's like, all right, we'll save this one for last and set up explosives. And right before the last pulse, setting off a fireworks show.
Okay. So, Archibald, Acid, and Eclipse enjoy fireworks right up until time stops.
Yeah. Yep, not his usual MO, but you know what? Something special for the occasion.
Okay. Who wants to go next?
Oogie's is short and sweet.
Okay.
He requisitions nothing more than a shuttle and spends the remaining months prior to returning to Audrima getting viable samples of every flower and vegetable seed that he can.
Oh.
6 tons of seeds
That is a lot of seeds.
that he is then taking with him to Mektora.
Mm-hmm.
And presumably they let him, if not land, at least transfer his cargo. He hands Lily Grace a bouquet and says, "I got you flowers." And then he opens up the one of the crates to show the boxes of seed.
Okay. Now I have to ask: is that because Trulaire remembered that Lily Grace was formerly a poppy farmer, or because Oogie remembered?
That is because Oogie remembered it. You may note that the first gift he gave her was flowers.
Mm-hmm.
And that precipitated an almost fight.
Yep. She was not sure what to make of that, but bringing seeds is there's a joyous reunion there. And yes, after some inspection to make sure that nothing is invasive or going to overwhelm what carefully cultivated gardens and farms they have for the human population, Oogie is allowed to bring his seeds and stay on Androma. You think Oogie and Izya want to be in the same city? Meowkin! I didn't even catch that.
It's almost like Trulaire has a writer's soul and understands a thing or two about metaphor.
That's great.
I don't think Izya cares an answer to your question.
Okay.
Oogie is a work friend at best. Izya doesn't have that long.
Okay.
If Oogie wants to get involved in trying to, codify everything that we know about things, then that's what Izya's doing once he's safely ensconced on Mektora.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that Oogie's good at, so yeah, probably.
Well,
Okay.
not going to get stopped, but there may be a commute involved.
All right. And then we've got. I should ask you the same. Does Oogie take back his memories? Recover his memories?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Nox or Ben?
Well, I can go.
Okay. I think Ben wanted to go last anyways for the grand finale.
Oh yeah, let's go out with a bang.
Black hole explosion. Uh-huh. Yeah. Nox.
Great. After the whole time left, they kind of sign on to finishing up whatever work project that can be transferred into the next loop. And eventually kind of settles on not staying past the reset. Maya didn't really start a life here. It was just gain consciousness and then almost a year of working.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So before they can get to the kind of burnout that their new life has given them, they just decide to do away with the consequences.
Okay. So you're breaking up a little bit, but what I heard there is that Amaya is finishing up what projects can be put forward into project and technology can be put forward into the next loop, and then is just going to let herself fade into time.
Yeah.
Does she do anything after the projects are completed? Like, I mean, between the completion and the end of time?
Go into what can be called civilian lifestyle on Dry Sun,
Well,
which is something novel for them.
okay, yeah. Well, Dry Sun has, in the intervening months, has completed the dome, so it's a very livable city by the time things come to an end, and there's plenty of construction to be done around. That's not just advancing technology that Amaya could get into if she wants to work. There's also, pools and spas that she can just lounge in. Um, Carter says that, for all that the end of the world is sad, uh, Amaya has been at the forefront of it and has earned a spa day or two.
Very least, Amaya will set a timer or an alarm to watch the ball drop, as it were.
Okay. Now, in a civilized place such as Dry Sun, and especially one that has no doubt and has no anti-propaganda telling people, oh yeah, it's the world's going to continue, etc. Uh, People are partying like it's the end of the world. Things are, nobody's being violent. It's not the purge or anything, but there are any kind of enjoyable activities that Amaya wants to that are available to Amaya if she wants to get into them in the last couple of days. Does she go out with a party, or does she go out watching the clock, so to speak?
Yeah, it's a quiet affair of watching the clock.
Okay. Does she mind being joined by a handful of others who are of the same mind?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will host a kind of small get together in a not unlivable temperature section. Yes, place that Amaya was given as living space.
Okay. Notables that are there are Nova, Armstrong, Carter was there. Nova is like more at peace than she's really ever been. And for Armstrong, this is just time ticking. It's a little bit relieving to Armstrong that there is a finality to things. And Carter was just kind of she's still young and shows it, and just kind of absorbing the maturity and wisdom of the older, even if it's only by a couple of years. And I'm assuming that Amaya does not recover memories.
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And then we come to Marcus.
Hello.
Alright, you're done already. How does this play out, Ben?
This is Marcus getting the shittiest ship that someone will give him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's commissioned a free merchant. It's got to drive 3, but you know that's part of the Raza fleet. Needs some maintenance done, but you know when you've only got a few days left, a couple weeks left, maintenance that's 2 months overdue doesn't seem like a big issue.
It's gonna be real awkward when it explodes right before you get to do what you want to do, though.
Well, Marcus is just going to begin flying it where it begins to get close enough to the black hole. And that's when he's gonna do a UE, flip it around, and fly out the back of the airlock. He's gonna send himself into the black hole.
Did he have a black hole he wanted to do that specifically? There's
The top right one.
Okay, over at
I forget what it's
Artemis.
called. Yeah, I think it's the Artemis one.
Mhm.
Yeah, he just puts on his super suit and sends himself out.
Okay. Did he go alone? Like, did he just pilot the ship alone and get there?
Basically, he would have got someone to like take him there and said, "All right, leave the ship to me now, unless you want to watch." People wanting to watch, feel free to, but he was just going to go at it alone. He wasn't going to bring anyone else into this.
Would he turn anyone down if they expressed interest?
No, if they wanna come, go for it. Scientific research and all that.
Well, Hartman and Quiet River are both down for the experience.
But yeah, it's nothing exciting. It's just him. Like I said, getting the ship close enough. He'll then just like slow it down, and then hail himself out the back of it. All the while just listening to music.
All right. Well, there are. I did a little looking into the whole spaghettification thing, and it turns out that there's pretty much no way to get to a black hole without dying, except the singularity isn't a point within the black hole; it's a ring. So this campaign and these characters will never know if somehow Marcus, Hartman, and Quiet River uh, was a word I'm looking for.
Experienced it.
Dived into the black hole at just the right angle to have theoretically gone out the other side. Now, there's all kinds of other things that would kill them, but you know, there's already been some very weird shit going on. So the universe will never know if more weird shit happened. What's he listening to?
Definitely. Where is it?
What?
Oh, Hans Zimmer, Interstellar.
That is a fantastic soundtrack. Good choice.
Yeah, that's what he's going for.
Okay. And he didn't recover memories either, did he?
Nah, he didn't want to go through that.
Okay. Okay. At the 10th pulse, time in this universe, or at least as these characters experience it, is no more. With the exception of those that decided to secrete themselves on Mectora. And there's no fire, there's no explosion except for that bunker, and the video display in front of Amaya and in the hot tub. Just everything stops. And for those that are on Mectora, nothing changes. There's a pulse, and if any of them are looking up, I probably shouldn't say nothing changes. Those that are looking up at the stars notice very easily that has changed. The starscape ahead of you, above you, has changed, and the mech even have a little bit of ceremony for this. Now, this is only their second time being prepared for it. Well, actually, really, it's their first time being prepared for it. The other time was also a hey, we thought this might, but didn't really know this would happen. So there's a little bit of ceremony involved. All the city lights, all the light pollution that Ajima advancement has resulted in is dimmed. The only thing that there is blackness for those that are on the right side of the planet, and stars. And you see the stars simply pop into new places. You are humans in space, thousands of years before humans even make it past the highest mountains. The end.
Thank you for a good campaign, Dexter.
Welcome.